The most deafening sound in the world is not the roar of 75,000 people screaming your name on a sunny Sunday in Florida. The loudest sound in the world is that of a phone that hasn't rung in 3 years. I spend my days sitting in this torn synthetic leather armchair, staring at the black screen of my cell phone on the coffee table, waiting for a vibration, a light, anything that proves I still exist. But it remains there, motionless, cold, and silent, like an electronic tombstone of my past life. My name is Derek Coleman. If you turned on the television in 1992, you would see my face. I wasn't just a football player. I was an industry. I was the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, the prince of the city, the golden boy who rose from poverty to sign $30 million contracts. Today, at 58 years old, I am the man who has to count the coins in a glass jar to know if I can buy milk and bread in the same week. But I don't want to talk about the money I lost. Money is paper. Paper burns, paper tears. I want to talk about the people I lost, or rather, the people I thought I had. They had a name for the group that walked with me. The pack. It was funny because I saw myself as the alpha wolf, the leader who hunted to feed the pack. Wherever Derek went, the entourage followed. Ray, my best friend since 3rd grade, who swore he would protect me from bullies at school. My second cousins I didn't even know existed until draft day. The image consultants, the security guards, the business partners. There were always 12 or 15 people. There was a sacred rule back then. No one's wallet left their pocket except mine. I felt a toxic pride in that. I walked into the most expensive restaurants in South Beach, asked for the back table and told the waiter, "Bring whatever they want and don't let the glasses go empty." I saw Ray order $3,000 wines he didn't even like, just to pour half of it onto the tablecloth while laughing at a bad joke. I saw my cousins drive cars I bought, wear watches I paid for, live in apartments whose rent was debited directly from my checking account on the 1st of every month. I remember one specific night after a win against the Buffalo Bills. We were in a VIP area, surrounded by smoke and strobe lights. I looked at Ray. He was wearing a custom-made Italian suit that cost $5,000. I leaned in and said, with the innocence of a 25-year-old kid, "We made it, brother. We beat the system. We're together forever." He toasted with me, flashed that wide smile and said, "Till the end, D, you're the man. I'd die for you." I believed him. God, how I believed him. I thought I was buying loyalty, but I was only renting company. And rent is expensive, and the contract has clauses you don't read when you're drunk on fame. The termination clause came on a muggy, October afternoon. It wasn't a spectacular tackle that ended me. It was a stupid play, a simple body rotation to escape a defender from the New England Patriots. My right foot got stuck in the turf. The rest of my body twisted. The snap sounded like a gunshot inside my helmet. I went down screaming, not in pain, but in terror. Because deep down, every athlete knows when it's that injury. As I was carried off the field on a stretcher, crying, I looked toward the stands. I tried to find the faces of my pack in the luxury box I paid for every year. I wanted to see concern. I wanted to see love. But they weren't looking at the stretcher. They were arguing with the waiter because the beer had run out. The knee surgery was complicated. Hospital infection. 2 more operations to fix the mistake from the first one. The doctor, a serious grey-haired man, walked into the room and said the words that sounded like a death sentence. "Derek, you'll walk, but you'll never play at a professional level again." At first, the party continued. I had financial reserves, or so I thought. The mansion was still full. Ray said, Relax, D. You'll become a commentator. Open a chain of gyms. We'll figure it out. Notice the use of the expression we. They loved saying we when it came to spending, but the we disappeared fast when the bills started arriving. Without the league paycheck coming in every week, the faucet dried up. But my entourage's lifestyle didn't change. They kept using my corporate credit cards. They kept wrecking my cars. And I, paralyzed by depression and by the painkillers I took like breath mints, let it happen. I was afraid to say no. I was afraid that if I stopped paying, they would stop coming. And I was right. 3 years after the injury, I was bankrupt, literally. The bank took the house, the IRS took the rest. I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment in a dangerous neighborhood, the Chiu-Chi-Chi. Pac gradually disappeared. First, they stopped coming to dinners because the food was no longer lobster, it was pizza. Then they stopped answering calls because they were too busy working. Working at the jobs I got for them, of course. Rock bottom has a date and a time. It was a rainy Tuesday. The fridge was empty. The electricity had been shut off 4 hours earlier. I was sitting in the dark, hungry, with a pain in my knee that felt like a hot knife twisting inside the bone. I needed medicine and food. I needed $500, just $500, an amount I used to tip valets. I grabbed the phone. My fingers were shaking. I took a deep breath and dialed the number I knew by heart. Ray's number. The man I gave a $300,000 house to as a wedding gift. The man who said he would die for me. It rang 4 times. Hello? His voice sounded irritated. Ray, it's me, Derek. My voice came out weak. I felt humiliated, small. Derek? Man, I'm in a meeting right now. What is it? Ray, I'm sorry to call like this, but things got bad. They cut my electricity. I have nothing in the fridge. I need some help. Quick thing, $500, just to get through the week. I'll pay you back as soon as those old medals sell. There was silence on the other end, a cold, cruel silence. 500, he scoffed. Derek, are you kidding? You think I'm a bank? I've got a family, man. I've got bills. The market's tough for everyone. I felt a hot tear roll down my face. Ray, it's for food. I gave you a house, Ray. I paid for your father's surgery. I never asked you for anything. His voice changed. It became aggressive. The mask fell. No one asked you for anything, Derek. You gave because you wanted to, because you wanted to feel like the big man. You wanted to be the king. Now that the crown fell, don't come crawling to me. Be a man, get a job, and stop calling me. The line went dead. I tried calling back. Voicemail. Tried again. The number you have dialed is blocked or does not exist. I stayed there in the dark, holding the phone as if it were a smoking gun. The hunger passed. The knee pain passed. All that remained was a cold, absolute understanding of reality. I never had friends. I had employees. I had parasites. I had a paid audience. There is a brutal difference no one teaches you in school or in the locker room. There is the person who is in the boat with you, holding the oar, sweating, fighting the storm at your side, and there is the person who is anchored to you. The anchor does not row. The anchor only creates weight. It clings to you and lets you drag it through the water. As long as you have strength, the anchor travels for free. But the moment you get tired, the moment you stop swimming, the anchor does the only thing it knows how to do. It pulls you to the coast. Bottom. Ray was an anchor. All of them were. And I, in my blind vanity, thought I was the engine of the ship, when in reality I was just the hull slowly sinking. Today my apartment is silent. There's no music, no parties, no brothers slapping my back. Sometimes I go to the downtown pawn shop just to visit my Super Bowl ring, which is there in the display case, for sale at a price I'll never be able to afford again. The shop owner lets me hold it for a few seconds. It's cold, it's heavy, it's dead metal. I look at today's young stars on television. I see the gold chains, the diamond-studded watches, and I see the entourage behind them, laughing, drinking, sucking them dry. I feel like screaming, like crossing the screen and shaking that 22-year-old kid. I want to tell him, do a test, pretend you lost everything today. Call your best friend at 3 in the morning and ask for help. See who answers, see who stays when the music stops. But I know he wouldn't listen. No one listens when the sound of applause is too loud. I put the cell phone back on the table. It won't ring, Ray won't call. No one will call. And in a strange and painful way, that is a relief. Because loneliness, as terrible as it is, at least is honest. Loneliness doesn't lie to you. Loneliness doesn't drink your wine and disappear when the bottle is empty. Loneliness stays, and today it is the only loyal companion I have left. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to try to sleep. Dreaming of the day I was invincible is the only wealth they couldn't take from me.